let's move on to your team. Atlanta Falcons, second most cap space, and they can clear more if they make a few key cuts. I want to say Caleb McGarry is on that list.
No, Caleb McGarry is a free agent. The one they're going to cut Marcus Mariota, which is going to clear up $12 million in cap space. And then I'm sure and that's just that one. I'm sure they'll do a couple other ones as well. That maybe be $1 million here, $1 million there. I can see them being in the low 70s, just shy of Chicago in cap space. And I mean, as PFF said, and it was a great troll, Atlanta needs everything. and it's very true. They don't need right guard. That's the one thing that they really don't need. Chris Lindstrom's arguably one of the best players. Maybe up there with Grady Jarrett on the team. But the Atlanta offense actually wasn't atrocious all of last year, considering how bad Mariota played, considering Pitts also was clearly affected by that. And then he missed the final 5 games, I'd say, due to surgery and injury. But Drake London had 1,000. I'm pretty sure he had 1,000-yard season. Can you double check that for me? I know Tyler Algier
he was the highest rated rookie receiver this year.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Tyler Algier, their running back, 5th round running back at a BYU, had 1,000-yard receiving, and their offensive line actually stayed healthy for majority of the year and
he had 866 yards, but off 72 catches. Averaged 12 yards a catch.
Well, and a lot of it too. I think he had like 400 in the 4 games that Desmond Ridder was quarterback. So some exciting things on offense. All things considered, I think that Arthur Smith system is starting to work in. But then, just like usual Falcon form, the defense sucked all year. And so for me, the clear one that sticks out to me is I think you can get 2 birds with 1 stone. Is they're bringing in a new defensive coordinator, Ryan Nielsen from the Saints. I think he might switch up their defense from a 3-4 to a 4-3. Grady Jarrett's going to need a running mate, a proven running mate. You have a lot of money to spend. Go get Darren Payne, who had 11.5 sacks. Daron Payne, Mr. Payne, who had 11.5 sacks as a defensive tackle with Washington Commanders. I think you put those 2 together, and that is going to help out your young edge rushers. It's going to help out anybody you draft, help out anyone else you bring in, just because there's going to be so much attention on the interior. Grady Jarrett has consistently been one of the top defensive tackles in the league, really kind of since he's been drafted, even in the Super Bowl. Because he got drafted in 2015. He's going to be 30 or is 30 going.
I didn't realize he was that old.
He's been a while. He got drafted. I'm pretty sure he got drafted with Vic Beasley. I'm pretty sure he was in that same draft class. Yeah, and they played together at Clemson.
Side note, did you hear Vic Beasley is going to be playing in the XFL?
I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, he was one of the headliners. And I'm like, at least you're still playing football, my man. But anyways, to me, though, Falcons have had the worst pass rush over the past couple of years. And going again, Daron Payne, did I say it right? There's a Darren. Daron. I think that would, instead of keep thinking edge rushers, let's think of let's put so much attention on the middle that maybe you have these one-on-one matchups and you can maybe send blitzes on one side on a weaker side. Yeah. And there's just so much focus on these 2 guys, and that can help stop the runs up the middle, make them have to run on the outside, where we do have some speedy linebackers. They're young and a little inexperienced, but I still think that they're speedy. And I think that's going to be the best place to start. I think he's worth every $19 million that you're going to have to pay him over the next 5 years. He's young. He's only 24. He'll be 25, I think, when the new season starts. So you can get him for the next 5 years. And then once on Grady Jarrett, you have him under contract for the next couple of years till he's 32. If he wants to retire or move on to go get a Super Bowl, or try and go get a Super Bowl, I totally get it. Or if we're a Super Bowl contending team by then, probably not. But then I think then you have this good transition. I think you can lock down a great player for a long time.
Yeah, I love Daron Payne's game. Just extremely physical. And for me, yes, his boost in the pass rush would be fantastic, but you guys really need him in the run game. You guys had the worst, if not one of the worst run defenses as a whole last year. And that is partly because you run smaller linebackers for a 3-4 system. And they usually have to take on linemen and they kind of get blown off the ball a little bit. So adding another big, beefy defensive tackle that can get after the quarterback as well as stop the run, I think would be a huge boost to that defense. You did have one other guy that you wanted to target. This is a guy that was a free agent last year, but go ahead.
Yeah, they franchise tagged him. So for another thing also too is improving on the secondary as well. AJ Terrell is, I still think, one of the better cornerbacks in the NFC. I think that they're going to in the NFL. That's true. They also have Casey Hayward on the other side, but he's a little bit older, so I think they're going to draft a younger corner in this draft, maybe in the first round, maybe early second round. But I think that'd be a great fit because there's a lot of good young corners. By the safety, there's still some uncertainty. Richie Grant was a pick from a couple years ago. He's improving a little bit. But if they go out and get Jesse Bates out of Cincinnati, another young guy, you can lock him up. I like him. I think that he can be a good fit. I know a lot of other people, there's been other people in Atlanta saying that you can go and get him. But it'd be another one, though. I don't know how much safeties are going for now. I think I saw Marcus Peters was going for like $15 million or something like that. But I mean, it's Marcus Peters. It's totally different. I think you can get him for 13 to 15 million. And if you combine that with a double check that for me. But if you do that, and then the 18 to 20 million with Deron Payne, you still have half your salary cap left to go get one of the available receivers on the market to kind of add depth or to re-sign some of the guys that are already there and know the system and improve in other positions. And I think you'd be getting in two young, very talented athletes at key positions on the defense.
So what a lot of people have projected for him is 5 years, 80 million, with 16 million average per year. With only a 30 million guarantee. So after 2 years, you can cut him and save. If his performance doesn't quite live up to the hype. But no, I agree. Especially if you guys are going to switch to a 4-3, having a too high safety system with Richie Grant and Jesse Bates, I think would be phenomenal. He is a little bit more of a leaning towards like a true free safety than like kind of those all around Swiss Army knife DBs that we see coming out, like the Jalen Petrie that Chicago Bears drafted last year. Richie Grant is much more to that, where he can play in the slot over the top. I think that would give you guys a lot of scheme versatility as well. He's a very good roamer over the top. So
and it's another thing too and I'm reading about what Ryan Nielsen wants to do is he doesn't really want to have like a set defense. I think he just kind of wants to do it all. So to have especially a guy who's a free safety that can go out and be like, hey, if we're doing man this play, I got everything deep, like for assistance. No, who's super quick and just a natural ball hawk. I think that would be great for this system. And keep putting on more pressure on these offenses because it just seems like it doesn't help that we've sucked, but it seems like we just always are just giving up a bunch of yards every single game. And maybe that was the system that Dean Pease had, but he's now gone as defensive coordinator and we have a new guy. So you just want to win games. And I think adding these guys right here, it's going to immensely improve this defense. And with all the cap space that we have, I think it's worth a shot.
Yeah. No, I mean, so this is like your cap space doesn't roll over into next year. If you have the money, spend it. And there's different philosophies on how people spend it. Some people like to go out and get the star player. Some people like to go out and get 4 or 5 good players. Yeah. And in my opinion, I think right now the Falcons need star players and to draft well. They're not necessarily in a let's go spend $50 million on 7 players mentality.
But that's the beauty though. So like, let's say it's like we gave Jesse Bates $16 million and then Deron Payne the $20 million or whatever it is. That's just less than half our cap, $35 million left. So we could go get 7 or 8 guys that are solid players that can fit really well into our system.
Yeah. Well, but you also have to leave room for draftees because you're going to spend about 15-ish million on draftees and unrestricted free agents.
Well, that's fair.
So but yeah, and then possible extensions. I'm trying to think of maybe give AJ Terrell an extension while you have the cap for it.
Good. Yeah.
And like maybe do a couple things like that. But I think all the teams that we talked about are in a good position going forward. I actually think the Falcons very low key have a chance to win the division next year. I mean, they were competitive in both Saints games. The first Panthers game, the second one wasn't as close.
Yeah. I think I'd have to go back and games. I'd have to go back and look. Well, they won the second one.
Well,
not that mattered or anything.
Yeah. The Bucs
but
already had it locked up.
I think they only had one game that they lost by more than a single score throughout the entire season for how bad the offense was.
That was to the 49ers, right?
No, the Bengals. We beat the 49ers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we beat the 49ers like 28-14, I think. And so, okay. And I just off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember any of the later games. But there were so many close one-possession games that we could have won the division pretty easily if a couple plays go our way. Yeah. But, it is what it is.
And that's to me, I think that's the beauty of an NFL that is so much closer now in talent. It's all right, even if you look at the Falcons, who I don't want to say are completely devoid of star talent, but it's okay, they have Grady Jarrett and AJ Terrell. And then Caleb, who's the right guard? You just said his name.
Caleb McGarry.
Yeah. No, that's the
sorry. Chris Lindstrom.
Yeah, Chris Lindstrom. That's a BC kid, actually.
Yeah.
And it's besides those three players, it's all right, they don't have anything really elite. Drake London had a really good rookie season. And it's Olamide Zaccheaus had a good year again. And so it's that is competing with the 49ers, who went to the NFC Championship with their third string quarterback. Mm-hmm. And now they might have found a diamond in the rough there with Brock Purdy, but it's fun to sit here and look at this and kind of evaluate all these free agents that are coming in. So
yeah, no, it's going to be a fun off season. It's fun to do these little projections and then just kind of see. It's it would be awesome if they got those guys and just revamp the defense. Actually, give a little bit of hope at least going into the season instead of this kind of pseudo hope. It's we drafted this player in the 5th round. He's going to be good. I'm yeah. How often does that happen? Where a guy
you guys drafted the former quarterback from South Dakota, Midwestern, Troy Anderson. It was a freak athlete, but it's he only played linebacker for 8 games in college.
Yeah, you drafted him. Well, it was the 2nd round too. I think it was the pick with the Colts or the Titans. I forget. Yeah. But just probably pure athletic potential talent. And he actually started to come on at the end. He actually had some special team plays, but he's one. Hopefully, if he keeps growing and he keeps staying athletic, and he seems like a super intelligent athlete and player. So maybe he can help kind of turn that middle part of the defense around.
That's something that Belichick used to do with Patriots players is in the later rounds, he would draft quarterbacks that would play elsewhere. And so Jacoby Myers was a quarterback at NC State and then played 2 seasons as a wide receiver. And then Julian Edelman was a quarterback at Kent State. And then he turned into a close to Hall of Fame level career. I'm not sure if he's quite Hall of Fame level, but a really solid career. And so I just think that's an interesting mix. But no, I think it's going to be really exciting too to watch what happens. Franchise tags start, I want to say February 27th to March 8th. And then free agency kicks off on March 15th. So between now and then, Tyler and I have a lot of content coming out just about mock drafts, what people should do, trade for picks, trade for players. So if you want to join in on our community and watch all that content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so we can ping you every time we post. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.